Happy Saturday, everyone. God bless you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It is a gorgeous day here in Savannah, Georgia. I was sitting in my living room this morning and looking out towards the balcony. I was just staring at my citrus trees. I've had them for quite a few years, and I was just wondering. I said, you know what? Especially the lemon tree. I'm like, it's giving a lot of flowers. It gave me a lemon one year. I think it was a year before. The year prior to last. Last year did not give me any fruit. This year it's thrown so many flowers. I see beautiful uh, um, bees that are coming to pollinate, carpenter bees, and so the pollen is like uh, getting to me right now. But I just wanted to sit out here because it's just so beautiful, just for a few minutes to give you this revelation that the Lord gave me through these trees. So I have a few things that I've planted here. I'm not I don't have a green thumb or anything. I'm not an expert. I got some herbs. I have some eggplant here. That is a key lime, and that is the lemon tree. And that's the one that I was just looking at because its leaves look more mature. It's this time I see wide, beautiful green leaves, as opposed to before. You used to always have these little small type of leaves. And I just stood looking at it and I said, I wonder if I've restrained the tree from growing. This is a question I had. I pondered, and so I said, let me look it up. And I hope you catch what I'm about to share with you because I just could not believe how God was speaking to me through this the the analogy, right, of this tree. When I looked it up, if my keeping them in these smaller um, pots were affecting their growth, because I heard that they were, what I understood is like they were like going to remain like a dwarf tree. And so, and the answer that I got through Google was absolutely, absolutely yes. And there was wording that popped out that as long as I contained or restricted the tree to these small pots, they will always remain small. They will always remain small. And their roots would never have room to grow. So, a lot of times we hear uh, ministers, pastors, grow where you are planted. But I, as the one who is taking care of these trees, I did not provide the proper environment for these trees to grow. And how could I expect their roots to grow? How could I expect them to give me fruit? I'm pruning them, but I wasn't providing the proper environment for these trees to grow. And so I wanted to encourage someone today that you need the proper soil, you need the proper space, you need the proper care, including the pruning, right? The proper pruning. Because even when this tree was a baby, I was tempted to prune it and I was like, oh no, because it was a baby. And so I tended to the tree as best as I knew how. But today I realized that I have not provided the proper environment and the proper space for this tree to grow. So, with that being said, you have fruit. If you have fruit, let me say this again. If you have fruit, your fruit is intended to share and to provide nutrient and satisfaction to those that would eat of the fruit. And furthermore, a tree, when it grows to its maximum capacity, It's one that provides shade to everyone and everything around it. You are intended to grow. You're intended to provide a place that provides shade, that provides comfort, that provides satisfaction. Your fruit is meant to be shared. Your roots are meant to grow, and you are meant to expand to heights way above what anyone can imagine, way above certain pots that are trying to hold you back, that are trying to contain your growth. I hope that this blessed someone today, because when I got it, I was just like, oh my God, you're meant to grow, you're meant to fruit, you're meant to be. The world is meant to experience your all that you have to offer, that God has put inside of you. This lemon tree is intended to provide lemons. Sorry, guys, the pollen is really thick here in the South. I'm sure everywhere else, but oof, it's so thick. And let me not take away from the message. That tree is meant to be a lemon tree. That's the seed that was planted in it to be what it's supposed to be. So, from both sides, right? From a leader's perspective, I need to identify what seed has God deposited in people around me, and who I'm called to identify the fruit, identify the seed, identify the fruit, and assist with their growth process. That's what I'm called to do as the tree tender, right? Let's say, or a garden tender, or someone who is called to tend whatever, whatever herbs, whatever vegetation, right? If we're talking about the responsibility of farmers and stuff like that, right? That's my responsibility. That's my responsibility. I'm called to tend to these trees and to make sure that I care for them so that they can provide for me and whoever I share these fruits with, whatever it gives. I could share it with my neighbor, I could share it with family members that come around. But it's meant for me to bring the maximum production out of this tree. And that comes from loving it, from caring for it. But I need to identify, I need to know what I need. I need to learn. I need to learn because I'm not a lemon tree, but I'm called to take care of that lemon tree. And so I need to learn about that tree. I need to care for it. I don't go and prune it like an animal and, and uh, just leave it out in the cold, whatever it is, whatever you can imagine, you're not supposed to do as the person who is called to tend to the trees, right? Can you imagine? So, from both perspectives, from a leader's perspective or the garden tender, right? The one called to tend to the garden, um, they have their responsibility, and the tree, if you're a tree, and we're all trees, we all have fruit and we all have trees. We should be fruitful. Some trees are not, like the fig tree that Christ cursed, right? Because it's supposed to be a fig tree and it wasn't fruiting. It didn't even have even evidence, even the mere evidence that it was going to give anything. Because a fig tree has a bud, even when out of season, right? That shows the capacity or the potential of the fruit that's coming. So this is why when Jesus looked at it, he didn't see anything. So we're talking to fruitful trees today. As a fruitful tree, be sure that you're not being contained in a pot. You're supposed to be planted in God's, fields, in the fields of God that are just limitless, that can provide good soil, good environment, and all the space you need to grow. Because you need to fruit, you need to grow, you need to grow, you need to grow. God bless you. I love you. I hope this blessed you.